Hello. I am checking in with an update. Um, I was planning to do a major special in my Extreme and Forgotten series, and I've just about gathered all the materials, and I want it to be really good. But I've had a heck of a day, so I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to sustain the necessary energy for it because it could end up to be an hour, but it won't be over an hour. I'll do my absolute best to keep that promise. Um, I have recorded a video for my first show that I talked about in the last very special arbitrary interlude, and I was pretty happy with it. It's along the same lines as that one, only a little bit more um, kind of explaining more where I'm coming from, the history of where I'm coming from as a leftist, and what I'd like to do with such a show. Um, but that video got some really good responses from some people here and on Facebook and in chats. So that encouraged me a lot. Some of my friends like J.C. Anderson and Mick Cantone, um, Katrina Ann, um, a few others were praising my video that were people who were kind of, along those same lines of thought. Um, but those popped to mind, and I was very thankful for that. So um, I'm going to try to keep making quality ones in that vein. And the first episode of the show, I'm just at the last moment, I became conflicted as to what I was going to title the show because of the algorithms on YouTube. I don't want to get tagged all the time just because of the title. So I've got to kind of put it on the down low, but I can't make it clear I'm on the down low. I mean, already named Henry Covert. That's bad enough. So I'm gonna toy with it for a few days or whenever I get it together. Inspiration hits me unexpectedly. So that's those two projects. No other blue reviews on the table. But anyway, as far as an update on me and my life, I've really done a video like this in a while. It's kind of like an arbitrary interlude. It's kind of like the soul bearing, but it's not going to be like deep heavy. But anyone who's listening that's a subscriber or friend or whatever that has any interest whatsoever in what's going on with me, I just wanted to put it out there because I wanted to tell you what's improving in my life and what's getting worse in my life, and areas where I'm helping myself and areas where I may need your help. I'm sorry to say that. So I'm about to put my braces back on. I just went to the doctor. These cheesy Band-Aids. These little neon yellow. So I just got the cortisone shots in my wrists for carpal tunnel. Finally. They're kind of numb. I don't know when exactly I'm supposed to feel an improvement. How far up my arm in my hand, down my hand, is going to affect. I would research that on the internet, but then I'll find a site that tells me I'm dying from my symptoms. But that's an unfortunate side effect of internet medical searches. I'm kind of kidding, kind of not. So anyway, I'm getting all my gauntlets all ready for a battle here. So yeah. So I do the good first or the bad first? Wow. All right, I'll do the good first. So yesterday was kind of a dead day and really a lost day. I slept almost the whole day. The nightmares I were very vivid, very lucid. I have had lucid dreaming for about 10 years now, almost. Certain people reoccur almost nightly. My parents, both of whom have been deceased for a number of years. My dad passed in 2013. My mom in 2009. But they're there almost every night. It's like they're immortal because now they have a whole story that's gone on and takes place in the modern day, but they've changed and they have a new house, and it's really weird. Then I have the Dream Mall, which I've had for some time. I haven't told many people about the Dream Mall outside of some people who are um, really keyed in with Flicker Street, like Sean Lee Levin, I've told, and uh, I was going to say the late, I hope she's not deceased, but my last love, Admeliora, the great is what I was going to say. I cued her in on it, and she actually appeared in my dreams there. But my ex fiance, I drew a map out of my head, and I kept going and going. I didn't finish it. Um, I'll probably tweak it and post it on my Facebook groups and website sometime. Um, but it's every night, and I've incorporated it. It's so detailed that I've incorporated it into Flickr Street as a part of the map of Hallmark, which is the Arkham-like town where most of it takes place. Now, when I say Arkham-like town, I don't mean that it's Lovecraftian in the sense of a lot of Lovecraftian work. It's Arkham-like in the sense that when I was trying to place it on the map in Massachusetts, where it is, um, I was trying to find the places where I could posit the correct Indian tribes that dwelled there for hundreds or thousands of years, because that was important in the lineage of Flicker Street and the history. Um, and so I kind of posited it. I finally found an area where it could exist if there were room. And then I checked a few more maps and I realized that's exactly where Lovecraftians had placed Arkham. Go figure. Many years ago, I had a town like Arkham that was kind of adjacent to Hallmark. And I also had another city named Midway. Um, Midway City, I got that idea from Thomas, the late Thomas Davis, who got me started on all this many, many years ago. But I don't know if he realizes it or not, but Midway City was already where Hawkman and Hawkgirl lived in DC Comics. So I ended up discarding Midway City, and Hallmark is what I kept. Hallmark was that was a name coined by Thomas too. I don't know if you got it from the cards, but he alluded to Lovecraft to me. I don't know if he'd actually read it, but even as little kids, we kind of knew who Lovecraft was because he was mentioned a lot in comic books or among comic fans. Of course, this is decades before the internet. But so I kind of absorbed the ideas of Arkham, the Arkham-ish town, which I never really named officially. Sometimes I would refer to it as Arkham, but I wasn't trying to be in the Lovecraftian universe or the Marvel universe, any of that stuff. It's really crap, but I actually think that's pretty cool the way Marvel incorporated all that, the old Marvel. So yeah, so I've placed Hallmark, and there are environs around it, counties and towns and forests and a mountain, and that all kind of figures into it. I've talked about this on several videos in the past. I can't tell you which ones. I never really labeled many of my Flickr Street videos as far as the exact content, except for like Shift in Human Consciousness is one, and The Death of Zap Valley, which is my last one. And I'm going to do a Flickr Street video, solely Flickr Street video. I'm going to call it for Flickr Street fans only. So that in that case, maybe 3 people will watch it, but hopefully more. I'd like to expand, and that brings me to today. So today I did a ritual that I've been doing for many months. It kind of centers me and calms me on my days off of my day job. Yesterday I was feeling desolate, totally exhausted from working 5 days in a row. I did 3 days of work. I mean, real actual work, like typing and stuff and grading and things for my eBay store. And then I went back to my day job and worked 2 7-hour shifts, 2 days in a row there. And so by Tuesday evening, my hands were just ruined. They were just raw and in agony. So I took my medicine and I just basically in and out of sleep. And I got a little depressed. I've been in a really good mood because one of the nerve pain medicines I'm on has actually elevated my mood. But I don't know. It's kind of not doing it right now. I think I had a lot of bad news. I've been having a lot of bad news in the financial area. So a lot of stuff hit me really hard yesterday. I'd already posted a GoFundMe. I think I'll have the link down there. This weekend, I'm going to post a Facebook fundraiser. Seems that I seem like to be able to attract the attention of more of my friends on there when I do it through Facebook. Facebook puts it higher in their algorithms than if it's like I'm sharing a GoFundMe because it's actually a Facebook thing. and that's what I've had to do in the past. The bottom line is, I live by myself. My house is paid for. I don't have a mortgage. I do have a very high HOA rate. My homeowners insurance, my homeowners association dues are by far my single largest bill every month. It's I'm like paying rent again, on the fucking house that I own outright. Um, so I'm a little behind on that. They're starting to get testy with me. Um, and I owe a property tax, and I don't have anything saved for it. I've been trying and trying, and it's just one thing after another. So I decided to start that fundraiser on GoFundMe. Um, a few people have contributed some amounts. It doesn't matter how much. It all helps, and that was able to actually pay one of my bills that I had right in front of me, so I could clear some way to start tackling this other stuff. So I deeply appreciate those people, and I'm going to give shout outs to everyone who donates on a near future video when I kind of may exclusively talk about my fundraisers. But I'm not going to drive you all crazy with all that today and supplicating and begging for money. Um, but I'm in dire straits. I mean, and the bottom line, what I was going to say is every year, this property tax is way more of a bill than anything else. So, I mean, it's way over $1,000, and it's been gradually growing each year. And then now I'm heading into late fees. And I came home today and I found an envelope, and it was like kind of warning me. I've traditionally been paying it by between March 1st and May 1st. So this year I'm shooting for May 1st. I just got my W-2s. So this weekend I'm going to take a look at them and see what my tax situation is like. My tax situation, I don't know if I'm going to have to use it to pay impending bills, to get HOA and all that shit off my back, or if I can actually parlay it into part of my um, property tax. But I need help. I mean, last year a roof collapsed in part of my house from the attic. I had a backed up um, central air thing, and hit moisture actually accumulated so much that it overflowed this thing and actually weakened the top of the ceiling in that room. And I hadn't been in that room in a while. My comic books were in there, so I lost a decent amount of comic books. I don't know, maybe about 50 or 60 at most, maybe 50. Unfortunately, there were about a dozen or so that I really, maybe a couple of dozen that I really wanted to keep, and about a quarter of those were ones I had just bought on eBay a few years ago, and we're looking forward to actually finally reading. Uh, so that was a little bit of a blow, but and some of them were valuable, and I was going to sell them, but it was a catalyst for me to sell more of my collection, like the vast majority of it, instead of the portions I'd already allocated. That's why I'm constantly listing stuff now, and I have hundreds and hundreds of comics left to put on eBay. It's just a matter of the time and the amount I can handle it with my hand and arm situation. So I have a throwing nerve situation and tennis elbow, and I'll get into that another time. But that all got diagnosed today. The doctor was really cool. I know I'm jumping all over the map. It could be the nerve pain medicine finally making me kind of hyper, but I mean I've been sipping on some caffeine, just Diet Coke all day. I went on a diet again, and I gained a lot of weight the last couple months. So I've lost 7 pounds since my last doctor visit, which was a week and a half ago. So that was good. I have high blood pressure again, but it went down since considerably in those 7 days, or not 7 days, 2 weeks, whatever it was. Also, so that's good. That's some of the good news. I don't have any other illnesses. I don't have any sexually transmitted diseases. They tested me in the ER. I've had COVID tests. I had blood drawn to check for AIDS and stuff. I didn't specifically ask for that, but they did a panel. Maybe they thought I was the kind of guy who would get it. I don't know. But they checked all my organs. Everything's cool. It's just my hands are fucked up, and my arm here. I mean, my tendons and my nerves are completely fucked up. In my right arm, then my left arm, I have all the worst carpal tunnel syndromes. In my right arm, I have those plus the worst tennis elbow syndrome. So I'm hoping these cortisone shots will do something. But now I'm really broke. I mean, I actually have had some money deposited for my day job and for my eBay today. And I've been using it for transportation. I don't need to use it for food. I am on food stamps. I'm good with all that. So it's really that I cannot accrue enough money to pay this damn property tax, and they will put a lien on my house and take it away. So this is what's happened every year. Every year I've tried to save, and I've been doing okay by the middle of the year, and then the economy's crashed toward the end of the year, and I seem to end up in this place around the time that they're really knocking on my door for property tax. So that happened in 2020, 2021, and 2022. And so I've had to have fundraisers all 3 of those years. The first year, I raised quite a bit on my fundraiser, and I was able to easily pay most of that stuff off. The second year, I raised some, and we got that stimulus check, but of course, it was $600 short of what they swore they were going to give us. And they also refused to vote for a minimum wage hike. The minimum wage hike would have taken a while to take effect anyway, but it would certainly have helped me if I stay at this job into 2022, 2023. But those bastards did nothing. I've had it with this. But that's one of my other videos. And I'll just say this: that $600 would have helped me immediately to get out of something that was looming then. That's now permanently put me back. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just my eBay sales are so erratic and unpredictable. I can't depend on them. I mean, if I could sell all this stuff, literally, if I could sell all this stuff, I'd have no problems. You know, but the economy's tanking, and it's rough. People don't have as much disposable income to collect. The comic books are doing better than the DVDs are. I'm dropping prices on stuff, but I'm trying not to drop them insanely on stuff that I know really, really has value that I don't want to get swindled on, because I have done that in the past and lost out on some cash that I could have had because I was trying to liquidate out of desperation. That kind of happened early last year. I sold the oldest Avengers that I had, and guy wanted to buy a bunch of them at one time, and honestly, I got ripped off pretty badly. I wasn't checking in depth the fair market value of the stuff back then across sites. I knew how to check certain sites from working at Second and Charles. I knew those sites and how to read them. I knew how to grade them. I've always kind of known, but at Second and Charles, I was trained on how to do it. So I have done professional comic book grading. It's amazing that it took me most of my life to get that experience, but that's the way it goes. It's hard to get a job at the comic book store here. That's another whole story for another video or something. Suffice to say, though, now I'm really kind of on the cutting edge. I keep up really extensively with everything I'm selling that may remotely be of value, and I've been shocked. I've been sitting on stuff that's been worth a bunch of money. Some of it has not been moving, but occasionally, something will move. Like I had last year, I had the first official Winter Soldier appearance. I mean, it was in 9.0 near mint. I mean, I bought it on the stands, put it in a bag, I read it, put it in a bag. I had no idea it was going to blow up because the movies were going to happen, a few years later. So I got $150 for that. I had the first appearance of Gamora in Warlock. I think I got $175 for that. So if I could get a bunch of those sold like in the near future, then I'd be fine. I haven't had any big ones recently. I haven't had any $100 sales in a while. The last really big sale I had was around the time Eternals came out. I did finally sell the first appearance of the Black Knight, and I got $500 for that, and that helped a lot. That helped back up my credit cards and get them off my back. So, but all my credit cards are maxed out now, and I don't know. I'm going to work tomorrow a long shift. I'm getting a daily pay, like portions of my pay, but they don't give me my whole shift at once. They give me like portions. It's weird. And then on payday, they give me the rest. So I don't know. It seems very capricious, but I'm thankful I can grab the money immediately. Of course, conversely, eBay no longer lets you get the money immediately onto your PayPal. You have to wait a few business days to get that money. The good thing is they skim the taxable stuff off the top, so you don't get hit with this huge amount you have to pay at the end of the month. That was killing me for a long time. So I'm doing all I can. I've got a job counselor who's helping me, peer support / job counselor, but they're full up, and I've been working with them so long, and I've been at this job officially, my day job, for over 2 years. So they're about to let me go. I just started with a new therapist. I've only seen once. I don't know what I think of her yet, and she probably has no clue what to think of me. Or if she is, she's keeping it on the down low, just kind of observing. Um, I'm a little nervous about that, but I mean, my mood is to where I'm surviving. I know what I have to do going forward. I have to work more in the public at the day job than I have been steadily in the last few months. Even though I'm still in pain, I just have to do it now. I don't have a choice anymore, and I can't rely on my eBay as I have in times past. At its peak, my eBay, I'd make more money in a day than I would a week at my day job, and that's when I was working for at least 4 days a week at the day job, some 10-hour days with commissions. I would still make more, but that era didn't last, and I don't know if it'll ever come again. So I'm doing what I can. I need help. I need help really badly. I don't want to lose my house. Me and my cat have nowhere to go. I have no living relatives. I mean, I have a few cousins in another town that I'm kind of just completely faded away. That after my mom died, it was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, I don't know. And then when my dad died, then on his side, I never was close to them. They didn't like us, and a couple of them popped out of the woodwork and wanted some of my dad's inheritance. Well, they hinted at it, and I just told them, what, I didn't even address it. I said, yeah, I'm the sole beneficiary and the executor. I'll take care of it. And of course, so they never spoke to me again after that. But that was the first time they'd spoken to me in many years. And the woman who spoke to me, she was my first cousin, and her brother, also my first cousin, though they're a lot older than me because my father was a lot older than my mother. But that guy, my dad had wanted to name him as some kind of recipient on the will, but he never clarified it. So my lawyer, which I inherited from my dad, was like, we don't have to even contact this guy. And this guy has been in prison. He sexually assaulted both of his daughters. I met them when I was young, and of course I didn't know that until much later. And he was a or actual member of the Klan, Ku Klux Klan. And I'm like, this is disgusting. This is like the downside. I defend living in the South against people who stereotype all of us, but that's the downside of living in the South. That's what created the stereotype. It's people like my first cousin. He's just, it's ridiculous. He's a scumbag. So um, yeah. So I've come a long way in the last few years since I bought this house, which was 2015. Been through a lot. Of course, I was on kind of an incline until uh, things happened with Kelly, and that kind of reshaped my life. And I let the house go as far as cleaning. It's a fucking mess, and every time I would get caught up with something or start to, my depression would hit me, and so I was trying to get help for that. And then I would occasionally have some other physical problems, but they weren't too bad. But last summer, my carpal tunnel was bad for 3 months, really bad. So this hit me again right around Halloween, and it's worse than it's ever been. It's relentless, and this part has been the that I didn't have in the past. I mean, this nerve is like screaming right now, so I'm gonna have to take something after I finish this video. I can't really tell the effect of the carpal tunnel on my wrists yet. I'm kind of muffling them with these braces, and I just want to kind of get through this video. I don't mean I'm gonna rush, but I'm not gonna take forever either. I appreciate all of you. Anyone who's listening, this has been a good outlet for me, a good therapeutic tool. This channel. I do want to use I do want to use the new show, to really address a lot of problems that I studied that are going on in our world, in our society, in our lives that really impact us down to the micro level. And each of us is a micro. Each of us that's suffering is a microcosm of a culture that's suffering, and a way of life that's kind of hurtling towards its end. The American empire is crumbling, and more people are realizing this, and we've got to get over our petty differences. We've got to clearly define who's on our side and who isn't in this, and fight for the things we need. Like Medicare for all would be nice. Medicare for all, wage increases, federal job guarantees, ballot initiatives, cannabis legalization, demilitarizing the police, ending regime change, wars in other countries. Um, and there are a lot more things. Those are just some of the most prominent ones that always come to my mind. Things the federal government should have already been doing. Uh, so anyway, that's another video, another show, like I said. And with my other show, Blue Review, I'm really, still committed to just reviewing movies, talking about movies through my filter, through, where I'm coming from, and I'm feeling more and more at ease about just saying, hey, this is where I'm coming from. This is how I see this film, and here's the information I have, and I try to be as accurate as possible. And if I don't know something, I'm just going to say I don't know or I don't remember. So that's why I wanted this. I almost gave away the surprise. The special that I'm working on for Streaming Forgotten, I really want it to be actually special. Um, and it's a film that I've had a long, dark, no, not dark, not at all, a long, deep, intimate relationship with, and I want to share all that with you guys. So that's on the table. So for now, all I can really say to wrap up is um, things are slightly looking up for my health. At least they're starting to go in that direction. But I'm worn out. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like I've been beaten down, and I'm trying to kind of make a comeback. But this money thing hit me hard yesterday, and it depressed me to the point where my medication wasn't helping my mood at all. Today I feel a lot better. And so what I was going to say, I'm not going to wrap up yet. This is what I've been meaning to say. Some more good things. I started talking about Flicker Street and the Dream Mall and all this stuff. So today I had all those dreams yesterday, and I enacted this ritual I've been doing for a while, where I'll go to the post office near my house and I'll mail out my eBay orders. I didn't have a whole lot today, 5, and so then I'll go to the Subway sandwiches down the sidewalk from it. On the way was Manifest Records, where I used to work, but I talked about how that's been closed, and I was happy about it. Now they're making something else there, but anyway, getting that out of the way always makes me feel responsible. I do it. The orders have the orders have sloughed off so much that I only do it every 2 weeks now. I only have to. I used to do it every single week. So 5 orders in 2 weeks kind of sucks. But anyway, I'll go to Subway and they know me there, especially the manager. She's a character, and actually that whole milieu, just like my day job, is kind of fed into my Flicker Street story. Fictionalizing kind of these kind of working class people, and that's kind of woven into the fabric of Flicker Street. I mean, it's a fantasy story, but it's like I guess if I want going to use a term that's used in real genre fiction, I guess I would call it an urban fantasy. But I mean, it's more than that. Uh, but that's a convenient way to label it. So I was writing down some of the material from my dreams. I'd go there and write, and I haven't been able to the last few times really do much because of my hands. So today I just took off my braces and I just tried to kind of slowly write my ideas. And I came up with more, and I was rereading stuff that I'd written a few months ago, and that's always good to refresh and get back into that world. I've been really close to that world constantly, daily for a couple of years, and then in the last few weeks, all this pain and stress. I still will get ideas and I'll type them up or write them down, but I can't get into them. It's like I want to get into that world, but then I know if I really do, at the end of it, I'll be in so much pain that I'm gonna have trouble. I'm gonna have trouble with my day job and my eBay. So it's like weighing things. Flicker Street isn't making me any money, and I don't really care about that. But it's rough. What I really need to do is devote my time to cleaning my house, and Flicker Street, besides working. But the only way to do that is to improve my health and my finances. So that's where I'm at. So, the one thing I was going to say, and I've mentioned this many times, and I feel like I'm the biggest procrastinator and boy who cried wolf there is about this. I have an official website for Flicker Street. It has a couple of posts and some illustrations and some information about me, but it doesn't have a really tangential prose post going into the world and what it's about and telling some of the stories like I do on the Facebook pages, where their traffic has just about completely died. So eventually, all my artwork is on there of note, and the stuff that isn't of note is on my DeviantArt page. And then a lot of the stories, I had a multi-part, 17-part. I know it's an odd place to leave off a 17-part kind of backstory text for Flicker Street that I began writing in 2014 and didn't actually completely finish writing until 2020. So for about a year, I've been toying with. I'm going to post it, of course, but I wanted to make some pieces that introduced it, some text pieces that contextualized it, in character and out of character, in story, in universe, and then me. And then I wanted to make a brief video like this to introduce it. And I also wanted to do an illustration. So I started drawing the illustration. I've drawn it out, but I wanted to do it pen and ink instead of the pencil stuff I usually do now. But again, this slammed me, and I thought a lot about that illustration today and how I'd love to finish it. And I'm like, maybe I should just post the stuff anyway because the piece is like 75,000 words at least long, and it's a lot to dive into. But the conclusions I've come to is that the piece itself is kind of a piece of disinformation. In other words, within that universe, it's a fictionalized view to an extent of that universe, with a lot of secrets revealed and then a lot of things misdirected. It's weird because I kind of realized that a definitive piece like that I wanted to present to potential fans would be more in line with the thematic concerns I've had in recent years as they've grown and evolved. And I think I've gotten way stronger and my writing's gotten stronger and easier. This is a lot of backstory world building that I put into place. So I decided that a character within the story, within Flicker Street, wrote that text. The 75,000 word piece was not written by me. It was written by a character within Flicker Street based on his research, and he got some things wrong and he changed some things. So this allows me to kind of do a soft, mild retcon on some aspects of that piece. That piece itself was an attempt to cohere all that together. Now I wish to do another piece, and I've mentioned this several times on the Flicker Street videos. So I know y'all are like, he's never going to do it. Maybe I won't, but I'm going to try to do a new piece that reflects the real story. Whereas that piece is kind of like, okay, here's an inroads into Flicker Street. Take it for what it is. Like it, don't like it, but please read it. Try to read it. But the thing that really helps people read stuff these days is illustrations and graphics. And I just don't have the health and time to do nice illustrations of the characters that are endemic to that text. I call that text Flicker Street the Birth, which is, I take off on Twin Peaks, The Return. And I'm really happy with it being presented that way. I don't know if anyone else will care or be happy with it. But I'm really happy with it being presented that way, and I'm really looking forward to the next text, the definitive text, which I have fragments everywhere of, and I need to bring them together and realize them. And that could take months, many months. I don't know. So if you want to support Flicker Street, or if you're a fan of Flicker Street, any contribution to me via PayPal or my fundraiser also helps that in the long run become a reality. But I'm not going to hinge too much on that because I haven't delivered a lot to you guys other than the Facebook pages and the art and a few videos. So, and only some of it's connected with some of y'all, and I get that. So I want to post Flicker Street the Birth on the website with or without all the filigree, because I found the introductions that I'd been writing for it today. I found them in a notebook. And if I could just finish those, a quick video and that illustration, then I could put all that up. But it still could be a few weeks at least before I do that. But I do feel a lot more motivated. I need to go ahead and get this done. So that's it. Thanks for listening. That's what's going on with me. I don't know what my next videos will be. I will be posting the first episode of that show as soon as I figure out what the hell I'm going to call it. And then my Blue Review special, and I might do some other stuff before I do the Blue Review special. It just depends on how inspired I am. I just did this because I wanted everyone to kind of know why I'm doing what I'm doing and what I'm doing it for, and where I'm helping myself, like today, going to the doctor and getting my shots and taking care of all this stuff, and where I need help, like, with this massive, bill that came in the mail today, yet again, $1,500, that's going to break me. So I don't know, I don't know what else to do. My ex-wife was a grifter, and I don't want to be perceived that way. It's just, I don't know. I've got no one else in the world. I mean, literally, it sounds dramatic. The reason I was talking about my family, I have a fourth cousin named Richard who lives in Greensboro. He used to live here. We became friends before I knew we were fourth cousins. And I'm friends with him and his brother, who I went to elementary school. Again, we did not know we were related. Uh, I'm friends with both of them on Facebook. Neither of them live in Charlotte now. That's the closest to a genetic family I have by far. I've got my cat. Lost most of my male best friends and buddies in the last 5 years for various reasons, either my fault, their fault, or just fate itself. And, uh, got divorced and, lost my ex fiance, the kind of love of my life, and then lost, you know, my next potential mate that really kind of got me out of the doldrums over my ex fiance. So, but at least it ended before it got too intense to where it would break me. So, if anything, it's kind of got me back in a space where I can detach myself from potential romantic things. I'm in a way I'm looking, and in a way I'm not looking. It's hard to describe. I'm open to something happening, but it would have to be like with Ad Meliora, where it just kind of comes into everything kind of falls into place. Um, but I can't entertain a woman with my house like this. So I mean, I'm just keeping it real here, keeping it real. So anyway, you guys take care. I love you. Be back soon.